Hello and welcome to the very first episode of She Drives. I'm your host, Tyree Patton, and where do I even start? First of all, I cannot believe the amount of support that this has had already. It's absolutely insane. Over 400 followers on TikTok already, which is just mental. So first and foremost, I want to thank everyone that has followed, liked, and sent me messages, words of support. It all really does mean a lot to me because this has been on my mind for about 3 years now. The creation of it. Where it started was, 3 years ago I was in uni and I had to do a podcast module and I had to make a podcast, and this car podcast was what I did. And everyone's been at me ever since, being like, you should do that, you should do something with that. And then I finally got the confidence to do it, so here we are, which is just so insane to say. But I think where we're going to start with for the very first episode, we're just going to do an intro. I know it sounds really, really boring, but I promise we're getting to the good stuff. For this episode, I thought it would be right to say what it is, or my hope for what I hope She Drives is going to become. I'm not going to lie, the most difficult part of this was probably creating the name, finding the name. Like, why is finding a name for something so difficult? I was probably stuck on this for months, and She Drives wasn't even one of the contenders to start with. I just came up with it at the very, very end. At the very end of my wits, that is, because I was like, I cannot think of a name for this. And it was one of the very last ones that I had thought of. And I was like, you know what? We're just going to go with it. We're going to go with it. And if I hate it later on, we'll change it. But I went with She Drives because it's all about the gals. This is what this is about. It's the gals in cars, in motorsport, in the automotive industry. It's about everyone. And you know what? Because us gals are so inclusive, it's for the boys. It's for absolutely anyone and everybody that likes cars, is interested in them in any sort of way, and is also interested in just a lot of banter, because that is what this is going to be. We'll be taking you through rallies, motorsport events, car shows, modifications, literally everything that you want to talk about, we're going to talk about. Anything you want to know, it's going to be there for you. And that's really what I wanted this to be. All in all, I always kind of thought that there was this space for something like this, and thought, you know what? I may as well just talk to myself for like 30 minutes at a time. Now, I know that everyone's car journeys are very different, so I thought I'd go into mine just as a little introduction of me, who I am. So, as you know, my name's Tyree. I am 22, turning 23 in, 10 days? 10 days now? No, 9 days. Well, when this goes out, it'll be like 7 days. I don't know. Anyway, ignore my terrible maths skills. My love for cars started whenever I was really, really young. My dad had Capris and Mantas, all that jazz. And, he didn't have any of that whenever I was born. All of that was like prior to me. But I think I really need to thank my older brother for getting me into cars, because I always thought whenever I was younger we were really, really close. Like, I was always outside with him whenever he was washing his cars, and he used to be a mechanic, so I was just kind of outside watching him. I don't know why. Nothing better to do with my life, but it was fun. Little 6-year-old me just walking around, seeing what the crack was. He was always really big into his cars. He was I know he's going to be listening to this, and I don't want to say felt spec, but he did have a Toledo, a blue one. And if you know the one I'm talking about, it was pretty felt spec. I think it was a PD 130. I need to ask him about that. He did kind of ruin the car, and then years later, I tried to buy it off someone. Didn't go well. I did not get the car. But anyway, he had a Type R. I can't even remember what else he had. And of course, most recently he had a Nissan Silvia S14. I was really, really close to him growing up, and I used to get up early in the morning, watch Top Gear, Wheeler Dealers. the typical thing any 6-year-old girl would watch, But ever since then, I've just been absolutely obsessed. And Subaru was my favourite car, was my dream car, until he introduced me to the S14. And, now I'm saving up for one of those, but we could be saving for quite a while. But all in all, that's kind of my own car journey. I have a Mark 6 Golf at the minute. It is my pride and joy. Anyone that knows me knows that it is. I've done most of the modifications to it myself, so I'd say I'm pretty hands-on whenever it comes to cars, but we'll get into modifications in a different episode. And the point of me telling you all of that is that I know the majority of girls do get into cars through their dad or their brother or someone else that likes it. So if that sounds like a bit of you, then hi, let's be friends. This podcast is for you. And that is exactly what this podcast is about. It's about getting away from stereotypes and really just proving that, yeah, girls do like cars, believe it or not. As I said before, this podcast will entail literally everything and anything. I want it to be a space where, people that might actually know a lot about cars will be able to listen to it. People that don't really know about cars will be able to listen to it as well. They'll be able to learn things and just feel included. Because I know sometimes that's a bit difficult, especially for the girls, and trying to find other girls that are also involved in cars. Or, we have car culture, we've got car shows, we've got motorsport events. There's literally something for everyone. Everyone will be able to find something that they like in this podcast. And I will say, in the coming weeks, we're going to be having a very exciting opportunity. This podcast will entail a feature called Behind the Wheel with ... And that's where you come in. If you want to be a guest on She Drives, all I need you to do is send an email to me at info@shedrives.co.uk. Send me a bit about yourself, your story. If you're maybe a woman rally driver or a female drifter, literally anything in the car scene, in the automotive industry, I want to hear from as many people as possible, because this is what it's about. It's about spreading awareness. It's about getting your names out there. That's really what I'm doing it for. I'm doing it for all the girls. And if you can't get to the email, then just send a message on our socials at She Drives Podcast. And if you haven't already, give us a wee follow, see if we can get to 500 followers. And of course, if there's anything that you want me to talk about, obviously I have loads and loads of ideas. I mean, really stupid ones, funny ones, educational things to talk about. But genuinely, if there is anything that you want brought up in this podcast, then don't be afraid to shout. We're all here to learn. We're all here to have fun. So anything you want to know, just shoot a message. Now, we are going to be doing quite a bit on the socials as well. You're going to see us out at rally events, motorsport events. You're going to see us at car shows. So if you see me coming up to you with a mic, don't be scared, okay? It's just for the social media. And if you want to be featured, well, then just come on up to me and I'll sort you out. The more the merrier. But yeah, that's really what this is to a T. It's just supporting women in the car scene. I just know this is going to be fun and it's going to be great crack. But since we are going to be doing stuff on the socials, I'm just going to push it one more time. Don't forget to follow us at She Drives Podcast. That's where all the fun's going to happen. That's where all the previews of the podcasts are going to happen, and I'll be putting wee slivers of each podcast episode on the socials as well. So there's plenty to see, plenty to go around. With all that said, please stay tuned for the next episode, because I know that this is really just a wee bit boring, like me chatting here by myself, talking about what this is. But I promise, next episode, we're going to get into the nitty gritty, because I have a very special guest joining us in the next episode. Also someone that you might be seeing around here a little bit more often. All will be revealed. And I am very, very excited for this. And I hope you're excited too. And I hope we're all excited together. Thank you so much for your support. And I will see you in 2 weeks' time. Bye!